Hey, good afternoon, Aggie Land. We welcome you back. We are inside the TexAgs studio, and it is episode 16 of Looch Bock. Gabe Bock, joined by TexAgs co-owner of The Source, Billy Liucci. We're live at TexAgs.com/live on the TexAgs YouTube channel and the podcast platform of your choice. Search Looch Bock to subscribe to the podcast. Looch Bock, presented by Bock Realty Group, luxury, new construction, first-time home buying, investment, real estate, and more. BRG is a two-time Aggie 100 company, number one in sales volume in our market back-to-back years. Find incredible resources for buying, selling, and investing on our website, BockRealtyGroup.com, turning our experience into your advantage. Looch, great to be back, man. It's been a while. Happy New Year.
It has. Happy New Year.
When is the last day you can say Happy New Year, in your opinion?
Probably today.
I was thinking like the 15th, and it starts
It's
feeling
either that or it's the end of the month.
Yeah.
We're probably past it. But
I decided not to do it, and then people were responding to me today on text with Happy New Year, and I'm like, it feels a little late.
It does, but I guess technically, if you haven't seen the person,
Yeah.
then I think it's
Until when? Up
But
until
the
tomorrow.
question is, if you've texted Happy New Year to each other, you don't have to say it either. So
Yeah, that's true. Then it's done.
You
It's a
seem
one-time
like-
thing.
I don't know specifically that you've Happy New Year to me, but you seem like a Happy
think I
New
did,
Year upon
actually.
the first.
Yeah, so I just doubled it.
So
That's like triple lettering
I think the 15th
at a game.
we're
It's like it's
past.
a little much.
Yeah, I think a week,
Yeah.
weekend.
Well, and how long can you go the same amount of time with the "How was your Christmas" question, or is that like
I
even
think
shorter?
that's over after New Year's
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
week,
Then it
yeah.
takes its place.
for sure.
Yeah, and then
For
you
sure.
got the double guys that go, Happy New Year, how was your Christmas? And that gets a little long, too. Have you been able to come up for air yet with all the portal stuff, the chaos?
Yeah, the portal it's nonstop, but it's not. The stuff isn't so time consuming, especially with Howell and Brawny doing the yeoman's
That helps
work
you.
they do in terms
Yeah.
of delivering the content. My deal is to
Make sure what they're delivering is accurate.
that, and then all three of us there's some overlap
Yeah.
sometimes in our sources, but all three of us. So, I mean, I still spend a lot of time on the phone during that period. But again, you can do that from anywhere,
Yeah.
I went
How many
up
hours
to
a
the
day
Cotton
when the
Bowl.
portal's hot? How many hours a day are you on the phone, you think?
Mm.
Calls or text? What's your screen time looking like the last 2 weeks?
A lot. A lot of screen time between social media, TexAgs, text messaging,
Mhm.
but the phone call stuff, it's not so much. It's just a couple of important calls a day, and
Yeah.
then it's kind of like a morning, night call or two, and then the follow up
Yeah.
anytime you start to get wind of anything breaking. So the phone time actually isn't that crazy. I probably can't say the same for Jason and Ryan. On my end, it's just like you said, it's confirming stuff. It's if they know a little and need to know a lot, go dig into that. Most times they know a lot. And then sometimes it's just like me calling them saying, hey, this is what I heard that y'all didn't tell me, so chase that down. Or I'll tell it to them as this is happening, report it, or this is happening, don't report it yet. It's just an ongoing thing.
It's
fun.
it's wild is what it is.
It's fun to watch them work too. They did such a great job.
Oh,
of
they're
it.
crushing it. And I'm constantly on it.
Mhm.
I'm one of the 4,628,000 and change views
It's insane.
on that one thread on a paid board, which means a lot of people are coming in and paying for y'all's insight because I see a lot of regurgitation
Yep.
throughout the Twitterverse and everything else. But do you know that the entire circulation of the Wall Street Journal right now is down to 400,000
Is it really?
worldwide?
Wow.
The entire circulation of print newspapers in the United States is 20 million. I'm not saying this is apples to apples comparison, but this is one thread on one team's fan site on a paid board, 4.6 million views.
What
That's unbelievable.
the print newspaper thing gets me now because they're, in their quest to remain relevant, everybody that writes for them tries to do both, and they fight to justify the print media, which I am one of those that kind of overlaps both.
Yeah,
So I get it, but in their fight to justify it, they're fighting that fight with one hand, and with the other hand, they're doing exactly what they are fighting against. And I have found over the, since this transition over, that the print media, a lot of times when they get into this realm, are some of the more notorious, just take people's stuff and report it and don't cite. We got some local entities here that almost like go out of their way not to cite us when we put it out, but they'll cite other, let's call them competitors, which I think is about as slimy and scummy as it gets. And you're probably listening, so it's you that I'm talking to, and that's exactly why I do it, because I want to make it real uncomfortable when you come up and shake my hand next time. So again,
well, I didn't mean to put you on a situation where you're going to say
no. I did that on purpose, because it's. But I do think that you gave me a good situation because it's been on my mind just when we break stuff, and I follow and kind of track who's doing what. Then we've had people from competitors that just literally logging into the site during the portal thing, like
swiping
10 times a day, and then within 2 minutes of their login, posting it, whether it be social media or different websites that they have or whatever. So it's been an interesting case study. Those Bronny and Zane have been kind of tracking it all. So it's just, there used to be a time and place where
integrity mattered.
Well, you just kind of credit the breaking news. I remember always, like, with whether it was Brent or Brian Davis, who's still in it, or Cease, or whoever was, whatever medium you were in, you'd see that. And then the lines got blurred along the way, and now it's just like, I'll just take it, claiming it's my own. Nobody cares. Nobody, and they don't. Like, that's the other thing. People don't care. They unless it's just like absolutely blatant and obvious. It's just an interesting conversation because of all the Pat McAfee stuff this week, and him talking about, and was it the person that asked or congratulated or wished Liam Cohen luck? I didn't actually go listen to I got the gist of it though, and a lot of old guard media were offended, and it's like,
it was like, that's not how you act, and it's not proper decorum in a press conference. That was the gist. Yeah,
that's fine. I used to joke with Brandon Leone, who's one of my best friends, and I used to joke with him all the time because when Mike Sherman did his going away press conference,
he was very similar to the way
there,
she was.
And like, just thanked him or told him how much he appreciated the way he carried himself and represented the program, and I kind of laughed and gave him a hard time about it because it wasn't conventional, and he kind of was living between being not that he played for Sherman, but a former player and a fan, and he was in there as media. But I didn't like get mad at him, but I gave him hell about it. But it was way back in that time period where you were seeing this crossover. I didn't have a problem with it. I just, how I am. I like give him hell about it. Yeah. He's like, oh, dog, come on, man. And he's like, dude, I was just emotional. But why get offended by that? Like, that was just him being heartfelt. And someone would say, well, he could go do that to him afterwards. Sure. But who was like so grossly wronged by that comment? All it did was make one person feel really good in front of the entire group. So yeah, if you go say it afterwards, it makes them feel good. But also, the whole group, I just don't see a problem with it. And somebody said, well, it's one less question. Come on, man. These questions aren't, in the press conference setting, 75% of them are not productive questions because a lot of times of how the coach is going to answer them.
Yeah. Oh, you already know the answer before you get it. And you're looking for quotes while you ask.
You've lived that life.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I've asked plenty of bad questions.
Yeah. Well, everybody's like, I asked the hard questions. I'm like, no, that's what Gabe and Olin do. That's what.
If I were in media, I would ask this question. Well, would you? I'll tell you this. I love that press conference with Sherman. It's very unconventional anyway that you let the fired coach come on and do one of those.
I did think that was stupid. But
the only thing I remember about that press conference was Leone's question.
Yeah.
And it happened 14 years ago.
Yeah, and there was nothing wrong with it. And again, like, probably made Coach Sherman feel good and appreciated. I don't like the idea of having a press conference after the coach is fired. It was unconventional. I just didn't think it. I don't know. You also had people trying to affiliate with A&M actively trying to rehire him in like a week after the hire. The whole thing was just kind of sloppy back then,
Yeah.
and that was to me part of it.
We're a little more buttoned up these days, it seems.
No, I think everybody is. But my point of all that is I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, just because you wouldn't do it or just because past history says don't do it, why can't someone just speak from the heart when they feel like doing it?
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, your day is going to be just fine.
Yeah,
it's going to be fine. It's not like future press conferences are just going to be 8 million. Hey, coach, good job this week. It was a close game. I'm sorry you lost. I promise it's not going there. And some of this stuff, it's interesting because I see both sides of it because I heard Olin talking about it yesterday, I think on maybe Louis' show. And Louis got lots of opinions on media.
How is Louis these days?
I don't know how he is. I know how he is. I don't know how he is in terms of where the media is at. He seems to enjoy it and not have a problem with it. But I was on one side of it. I was like maybe at the beginning of like this period of change, right? Because I was doing print. Now it was a print publication as a fan site, but I was also writing for magazines and occasionally have bylines in a newspaper. So
you're local, you were doing
so I just did
recruiting.
Yeah, I just didn't have training, but tried to, as best I could, live by that code of everything, and saw things changing and saw an opportunity to get out in front in terms of being able to give the fans what they want in a timely manner and get this kind of insider thing going and not be beholden to whether it was A&M people, whether it was other media people, and just do things my way. And
thank God you did, brother.
Yeah, I mean it was a conscious decision, and a lot of people along the way didn't like it. And I think even people that I liked and liked me probably didn't like it, but we were friends with each other.
When you added me, the idea was y'all can't have 2 credentials.
Yeah.
And now you got as many, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, now we'll get like 7 or 8 to, SEC media. So, it was
like
great.
You had to keep the newsletter, and it was losing money, but it gave us credentials. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, forget it.
Oh, yeah, after we were doing this.
Yeah, for a couple of years, like, no, let's just not do it.
Yeah, because we couldn't have a website.
Take away our credentials, and then it worked out.
You had to get to a point, though, where, we were no longer, we could give up the print media.
Yeah.
Because there was a long time where that was like, if you give up the print media, and it was A&M, yes, but it was also all these other programs around the Big 12 that you're going to, media day. So what a time.
Print was king there, and now you're getting as many pages on one thread on TexAgs Premium as the entire newspaper circulation in the state of Texas.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely unbelievable.
We've also got a Verizon outage as we speak.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
Hey, right off the top, while you look into that, I would like to dedicate this show to Ron Nell's family. Aggie class of 81. More trucker on TexAgs, father-in-law of TexAgs, great. TexAgs' own family member, Ronnie Woodard.
Oh, that's his father-in-law.
That's his father-in-law.
I didn't know
Lindsay's dad. Remember Lindsay? Ronnie Lindsay, man. I mean, the whole family. Ronnie worked here probably 8-9 years, was the first real full-time producer of TexAgs Radio, honestly.
And him and Nick are
one and the same.
Dalton bridged. Dalton was different.
Yeah, it was.
Dalton was
Ronnie
different.
trained Dalton.
Yeah.
Was trained by Casey. Ronnie trained Casey.
When I say Dalton was different, Dalton was great. But we've had that spot has been terrific, and Ronnie got it going.
Yeah, he really did. Unbelievable. We hired him as an intern. He stayed here almost a decade. And, Ron was more trucker on TexAgs and posted about 100,000 times. Mm-hmm. And we bonded because we were both more Hall guys at A&M. So,
were you?
Yeah, Ronnie posted about it on the site yesterday. I think he passed away last week. But just want that family to know that we're thinking about you and we're praying for you. All right. Absolutely. As we get into this, got a ton to talk about, and we'll hit a lot of Aggie basketball because they're red hot under Bucky and probably a little ahead of schedule. It seems like early here, 3-1 in SEC play.
Almost way ahead of schedule.
Good gosh, the way they almost beat Tennessee on the road. Yeah, we can hit that. I mean, that's unbelievable what they're doing right now.
Wow.
Cobbling together that roster, Looch.
Cobbling it together in such a short period of time.
Yeah. Late
You
to the
got to
party.
remember, it's not like cobbling it either. That's not a cheap roster.
No,
Let's be clear.
that's true.
But your options in terms of how you were going to build, cobbled is a good word, because your vision of how you would build your actual roster could not look like you wanted it to, because there were so few players remaining in the portal.
Right.
But those few players were so coveted, and not all of them were like McKenzie and Bacco.
Yeah.
And
you got
Federico,
Mac when nobody else was on the roster. He had to come take a leap of faith. And then, even though he's not playing much, guys said, "Oh shoot, they got him."
Yeah,
that helped us.
But there were a handful of guys of that level at most left in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
The timing of that was awful for Bucky and his staff. And keep in mind, he's putting together a staff, and you can't just go get those players. You have to come in and get money to get those players. So that is almost a full-time, and I watched him operate during that time. You've got to convince people, while football is, aggressively pursuing every NIL dollar, because you have to, or you will not be relevant in that sport.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest one that matters.
And they were trying to beat the House settlement.
Yeah, and beat the House settlement of July 1st.
Right.
There was a ton going on before you could even put together this team. Well, he puts it together, and then you don't have McKenzie and Bacco for all of the entirety of, let's call it, camp.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have Pop Isaacs for most of camp.
Right.
Then Mbako comes back very shortly after that, gets injured.
Clearly not 100%. Ever.
No, and still looked good, and still couldn't, and I like the team, but there are games, and there are going to be a lot of opponents where you are not built to win big in this league. And last night was one of those games against Tennessee and that size, but yet here we were, really should have won that game.
Totally.
Part of that I will absolutely say had to do with officiating.
There is no doubt.
The other, like some of these rebounds that they're calling, that you're talking about, they're getting out rebounded. I understand if it's coming off the glass, but some of those like free throws, they're just shoving A&M's players just out of bounds and under the back. It goes.
They're just let it happen.
Yeah, and I'm okay sometimes with letting them play. I get that you have to, but
that out of bounds call not being reversed is egregious.
I will say this, on that
yesterday.
second angle, I was like afraid they were going to have enough to not overturn. I still think it was the wrong call, but I saw that second angle. I was like, damn it, because of what they called it, they might not overturn it. I was in that same boat with that made bucket, against Auburn, and they did overturn it. But
that's right.
Yeah, you'd love to think A&M would have gone down and maybe scored in 9 seconds or gotten fouled. I feel like they had some guys, whether it was Jakari Lane or Isaac, somebody drive and get fouled there too. But or Aggie down in the block, you had enough time to get something like that.
Yeah, 12 seconds, something like that.
But they missed too many free throws. They win that game, and they missed too many free throws against Auburn, or it doesn't come down to that shot. Now, also stopping the clock, it doesn't come down to it either. They've got to get. I don't know if it might be a fatigue thing of just how hard they have to play. They're in great shape. But how hard they have to play for 40 and last night 50 minutes in order to overcome the massive disadvantage they have in size.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think of how taxing that is for those guys physically, like especially in the half court. So they're an overmatched, undermanned, and they're one play from whatever, one possession, one shot. And it's not a knock on Dominguez. He's been spectacular.
He hits that.
Pop Isaacs makes that one extra pass. He's got that wide open three. You win that game.
That's like a free throw for him.
Yeah, he's been so good. It's not even. It's like you're gonna. He was 4 of 11 from 3, which is great. If he'd have been 5 of 11, they win that game, and he'll tell you that. But it was mainly free throws to me.
Yeah,
and some of those fouls, 90 feet from the 80 feet from the basket. They had it might have been 3 and 4 possessions or 2 and 3 possessions.
Allowed them to get to the line. Yeah.
It's tough, man. They're trying to overcome, but to take Tennessee to double overtime on the road
shooting 30% on threes with 43 attempts.
And you're
And
that
getting smoked by 100 on the boards.
Yeah.
And still to go double OT.
They're not a try hard team. They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're already a good team, and that's really exciting and encouraging to watch. They got to get better in those closing minutes because like Luke said, I don't know, did you see his post of the numbers?
Yes.
It's pretty
double
wild.
OT. Double OT, they've played 3 overtime periods, 1 against SMU and 2 against Tennessee, and have had 2 total baskets.
Yeah.
And 3 overtime periods.
And that's what's keeping them from being a 2-loss team. Yeah.
13 consecutive
Oak State
wins.
and UCF, a 2-loss team with 13 straight wins and 4-0 in the SEC.
Yeah, and
they're
Oak
that
State
close.
and UCF are bubble teams.
Yeah.
I mean, every team A&M's lost to is basically a bubble team. Yeah.
You're that close to being like one of the biggest stories in college basketball. And the question now, and it starts Saturday in Austin against the Texas team. We'll learn more about Texas
I'm getting
tonight.
freaking sick of losing to those guys in every sport. I'm getting sick of it.
Well, I am too, but I think it's been a year, and that's long enough to get sick of it.
I'm not dying, but I'm sick of it.
Buzz took them down the first time in basketball last year, and then the year before, I think they split with them again there, right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no.
They beat us 2 out of 3 last year because
and in the tournament.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Slosh was owning them in baseball. So it's not like, you look at Aggie volley. You can go through across a lot of sports, but the big three, big three, twice in football, the sweep last year in baseball, and the 2 out of 3 in basketballs. And so, you'd love to see them go down there and win. I think it's a really, again, Texas is going to have a big advantage physically there. But A&M's shown they can overcome it. So I'd love to see the Longhorns drop one to the undefeated Vandy and not be coming off wins at Alabama and unbeaten Vandy back-to-back. That place will be rocking.
Yeah.
I don't think they're there yet. So it's a winnable game. And then you got Mississippi State and South Carolina. So A&M is good. They're not a great, a cute story. That's a good team. They just have to do it unconventionally. And they're only going to get better under Bucky.
I like that going into the Tennessee game, A&M was number 1 in last 4 teams in, so 3 teams away from being out. And last night after the loss, they're number 4 in last 4 buys. They moved up 1 spot after a loss.
Yeah.
I think when you go, you could make a case, Thompson Bowling and whatever Auburn's arena is called, is the hardest 2 places to win right now. Yeah, the jungle. I mean, you go beat one of them in a where
you're probably
need a heart
not.
surgeon,
You're probably right.
a heart doctor, and then you go over there in another tight one, and you almost win that one. And this is still year 1.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. And
name me a tougher place.
Look, the Aggies are going to have to win the games they need to win, and they're going to have to steal. Luke says you have to get to 10. I try to tell him that's too early to say that, and what people don't realize sometimes is if you don't talk about it every second that you don't know what you're talking about. I know from experience because I've been there where I've thought they needed a certain number and they either got it and didn't get in whatever the sport, or they didn't get it and got in, or you got it and realized you didn't really even need that many. It's always a moving target, but I agree that 10 is that number in my head. I would just feel good about that. But
yeah, I agree.
To get there, if you look at Tennessee, is it Vandy? They play Vandy as well.
Yep.
It's Tennessee, Vandy, at Vandy, Tennessee, at Arkansas, Florida at home, and at Bama. So 4 of the 5 on the road. Now one of them's done. You still you really need to get one of those 4. And it was really one of the 5, and so when you get that close to having it, it's a brutal loss. And as we sit here right now, now you've got to play your way out of having to look at SMU and Tennessee and go, that kept us out of the tournament. But I'm not that worried about it because this team can continue to get better, or they could just, you can't hit a wall. If this team keeps getting better, they'll get there.
We'll beat bubble teams, beat Texas on the road, return and do it again here.
Yeah.
take care of OU again, so it's a sweep and not a split.
Yep.
And then the Auburn one helps us because that's quad one, and who knows how they finish.
Without question.
You know, I don't even know what Auburn. I know the polarizing character right now is Torres. He did tweet this yesterday, and I was like, it made me think. He said A&M's a legit SEC title contender in 26. And to me, that seemed a little far-fetched at first glance. Are you going there yet, or what do you think the ceiling is in year one?
For this basketball game?
He's the first I've heard say publicly, this is an SEC title contender.
You
other
know,
than a homer, you know, like Easton.
I will say there's not. I think Florida's going to end up being the best team. And then obviously you've got Vandy rolling.
Yeah.
And I love the way Vandy finished last year. They came in here and stomped a good A&M team. Like that was a. I know the score was, but I mean that they handled them. I wouldn't say that. No, I think this is a team that's a NCAA tournament contender, which would be.
That's it, man. I mean,
an incredible first season.
Great first step.
And again, with the way they play, you just saw them in 2 of the last 3 games against those teams on the road, like neutral court. They're a problem for a lot of people. If their tournament started today and they were in, they'd be one of those teams people would get, gosh, I do not want to play that style of play. And those guys believe and they play hard. So.
The other thing I hear Luke say is make 13 threes and shoot 40%. They're a tough team.
The numbers as he he's got like where that bears itself out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you do that. When you shoot 30% and 66 at the line with your lack of inside presence.
I get not shooting as well from 3 against Tennessee. Look, I'm right here when you're shooting.
Right.
Or I'm right here. It's just such a big difference. I mean, it's such a big difference, you know, and just I'm not even like, I played 9th grade basketball and they told me you need to focus on baseball and football. Like you're not good enough at anything to have that in-between sport. No. But I, like most people, I've watched the game my whole life. I've played it with, friends your whole life. And anything and if you just watch basketball and see, like more than any sport, length matters the most, and it's the most disruptive thing to an offense.
Well, I played high school baseball, and they kept telling me focus on journalism. I just kept coming
glad
back
you
until
listened.
they told me I couldn't come back
glad
anymore.
You listened.
Hey, the other thing is the portal, right? So we got to talk about that. And then another outstanding class turned in by Elko. We're talking 17 transfer signees as of today, and 9 on the offensive and defensive lines at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Went into this offseason with a desperate need along the line of scrimmage, and safe to say they took care of that with an exclamation point. What I'd like to do for portal talk, because you've discussed it forwards and backwards already, Billy, in every radio show imaginable, including here many times, is let's go position by position. We're going to go back to the old confidence meter, 1 to 10, not just talking about what they did in the portal, but let's go quarterback. How confident are you right now in the quarterback position based on what the roster looks like as of today? Of course, you got your returning quarterback and 3 freshmen. No portal additions at quarterback. Your confidence meter in A&M heading into the spring at the quarterback position.
I would love to have the only thing I would love to have is a proven veteran backup to Marcel.
Like a Zeno type?
Well, Zeno got beat out by Miles O'Neal, so no. Okay. On paper, but that didn't play out that way.
Okay.
I think Brady Hart's going to be a really good college quarterback, and I don't want to get too caught up in the day and age that a second-year guy can't get it done because we see it all over the sport.
Oh, yeah.
And I've said from day one, I love the way he throws the football. From the minute he got here, I thought he was the best kind of pure passer on the roster.
Got a little moxie to him, too, doesn't he?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Again, remember, this is a guy that Michigan thought was their future until Underwood came into the picture. And I think the good thing is Brady Hart is comfortable sitting one more year, or if need, competing with Marcel, or if need be, whether it be underperformance from 10 or an injury, like stepping in, but knows that after this season, he should have a pretty clear look at it, be battling with him and Helaman Kasuga, assuming that those guys show enough that A&M doesn't need to go portal. That's the life in day and age of college football. Mm-hmm. But I love Brady, but I think in a perfect world, you have a veteran that's done some stuff sitting there. It's just hard to do. It's hard to do. A lot of teams would love to have that, but
you got to convince him that's what he's going to do.
You look around the SEC, who had that this year?
Ole Miss.
And that was kind of
Auburn, because they got the Stanford guy who wasn't that good.
Yeah. So they really didn't, but Ole Miss had it, but Trinidad Chambliss wasn't. I can't imagine that Lane Kiffin thought he was that guy, because if he did, he would have started him over Simmons. So they went and got a guy from, what was it? Ferris State.
Fighting Buellers of Ferris State.
Ferris State.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they just go with the Buellers? Nobody cares about Ferris State.
Buellers.
Ferris, Texas, high school, right up there where you get tickets all the time. Going too fast. Buellers.
Are they?
No, you should.
I was
Shake
like,
it
did
up,
they
baby,
change
twist
that?
and shout night at the game.
I was like,
let's lean into the
I was
name.
sitting there thinking Ferris, Texas is led
the
by
Yellow
as
Jackets,
big
I
a
think.
goofballs as you.
I know.
But
I'd name them the Buellers. Guarantee I would.
Anyway, you're going to make me digress for another 10 minutes. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I would prefer if you had like a 1-year guy.
Yep.
But
so it knocks it from a 10 to a what because of that?
I mean, we could talk this whole show about where's Marcel.
I know.
I mean, I saw a thing today like none of this matters unless Marcel. We got to call it like it is and say not sugarcoat it. He was terrible. Yeah, he did not play well in the last 2 games and 2.5 of the last 3. So that factors in, but you can't factor that in and define him and not factor in the first 10.5 games. Or, I mean, the first 11 games.
Yep.
But people want to do that, and they want to say, well, what did he do? He played good against the lesser team. He played great against a great team in Notre Dame and some
stout
okay teams and some good defenses. Missouri, LSU. Look at what those units did all year. Florida.
Florida's got some guys I'd like to have on defense right now.
He was one of the most improved players in college football. Okay, and if you disagree with that, I think you're trying to, shit on him, because I think he was one of the most improved players in college football from last year to this year. Now, like you look at an Arch Manning and you could say he was one of the top most improved players from the start of last year to the end of last year. And yeah, that's what you would probably take first. But there's nothing wrong with being one of the most improved players from a year ago to this year. And so I think they've got an outstanding situation at quarterback, but there are areas where Marcel's going to have to get better, because he might have to put a little more on his back this year and be one of the true difference makers. And he's not yet ready to do that against the highest end defenses. And when you look at next year's schedule, you don't know who those are going to be.
They'll be there, but you don't know who they are, where they are.
But there's enough options that you're going to see at least 3, if not 4 of them. And those are the games that get you into the playoffs or not. And I think that's the goal next year, is to not rebuild, but reload. And in order for them to reload, but I love where the position is. And for those people that are looking around the portal, actually look at it. Look at how much Austin Simmons got paid. Look at how much, like, Levitt's really good, but he's not like Sorsby.
He has some 80-yard games against bad teams like Mississippi State.
And look at Sorsby. And by the way, Levitt had an amazing receiver. Yeah, and 2 years ago, he had an amazing receiver and arguably the most impactful running back in damn college football almost.
And the best rookie running back in the league, maybe, arguably.
Yeah, scouted, but before he got hurt.
Yeah. He and Genty.
So look at how much they're getting. And before you criticize Marcel because you read some bullshit about his agent wanting a lot of money, well, first of all, of course he did. He's an agent. But before
Marcel, a lot of lesser quarterbacks are getting a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. So lesser, and I promise you, and if you don't believe it, just look. And then ask yourself, and I know it's not out there what Marcel gets, and I'm not going to be the one to put it out there because I come from a day and age that you don't talk about. And I know if it goes public, it does, but I'm just telling you, that guy could have gone into the portal and been one of the hottest names out there, along with Levitt and Sorsby. And
you don't think Lane would have wanted to rekindle that? They were once committed to each other.
And do you know how much money he would have made? A lot more than staying. And in the inverse, A&M would have went and had to spend a lot more.
Yeah, good
Josh
point,
Hoover, the money these guys are making going these places is crazy. So I like where they're at with the caveat that Marcel needs to make another big jump.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
So under a 10, so 8-ish, 7.
Oh, are we going to grade them? Is that the game?
Not an A-B, but a
But is this the game?
Your confidence meter going into the spring in that position, that's the game.
Yeah, an 8.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Running back. To this point, no portal commits. You got Owens and Morrow back and some talented freshmen.
Tougher one because I think Morrow is going to be really good.
Yep.
I think Owens is an interesting one because there was some good and bad with him. You think about some games where he wasn't productive and where you go, man, what would a healthy Le'Veon have done there?
For sure.
There were other games where he was, and you remember he was also coming off a season-ending injury or a full season injury. So how much can a veteran running back get better is an important question because they're going to need him. I thought they should have gone portal. I understand the problem with that. Again, the amount of money that a back that you look at those two that went to Texas that were ultra productive in the ACC and the Big 12. And I got into a huge debate this week on whether or not they were elite. And, like on the Goalpost podcast, Atwell's pointing out, she's like, look at the numbers. They're elite. If you think Jaden Ball's elite, here you go. It's still ACC Big 12, but I get what she's saying, which was if you guys got them, what would you be saying? Okay, sure. Number 2 and number 5 back in the portal.
Yeah.
Number 3 back was Wisner. Okay? So
who kills
if
us.
2 and 5 are elite, then by your definition, 3's elite. But Texas let him walk. Well, why did they let him walk? Because it's rumored, because they do talk about the money stuff. Instead of just saying he wanted more than they were willing to pay, they have thrown out a number, and it's like $1 million. So to go out and get a Trey Wisner is going to cost you $1 million? $1 million for him, and then probably Rubin or Morrow walk. So your number issue of veteran backs is still an issue. My biggest problem isn't, it's just that you have one proven running back and one semi-proven.
Yeah.
Whereas last year you had 4 proven to semi-proven.
That's right.
Daniels, Owens, Moss, and Smith. That's a big difference to me. I would like to see more proven and less unknowns, but I think Morrow he might end up being the biggest jump on this football team. He and Marco Jones and Noah McHale are so high up on my list. They might be 1, 2, and 3 there.
And how many times have we seen a freshman in that position, even just here in 3 decades, just jump on the scene like an Edwards could be capable of?
Yeah, we've seen it with A-Chain. We saw it with Travion Williams. We saw it with Isaiah Spiller.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Edwards is that good. So those are the wild cards. And the point of that, like Smothers and Rayleigh Brown, they're similar in size and style to Morrow. So, like, you recruited him, you invested in him, he's in your system, he's ready to go. Like, that was what you wait. So you go out in the portal and spend $1 million or so, $800-900 to get somebody like that, and then lose the guy that's here, presumably making less. Because again, when they go in the portal, that's where the craziness happens. So,
right,
I get it. I just would prefer a little more veteran, proven experience in that room. So I give that room. I give that one like a 6.5.
Yeah.
With the potential to go up to like an 8. And I think a ton of that depends on Morrow and Edwards. And by the way, the other true freshman physically looks really good.
Yeah, he does.
And he's like a 10-300 guy.
Caveat, if you try to recruit Draylon Miller to be an all-everything guy that could be a wildcat and do a bunch of ball carrying, could Bussy end up being that guy?
That's the same conversation I had in there yesterday. Same.
Really?
We're talking because I'm like, if that's what you were thinking about for Draylon Miller, who went to Baylor, because you just, quite frankly, offered him a lot more. This is fair. Like, he is more valuable to them and their success next year than he was to A&M.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he wouldn't have played here. Doesn't mean he wouldn't have contributed. Doesn't mean there's value to playing in front of 100,000 versus 35,000, 40,000. Doesn't mean there's not value to playing in the SEC. That was a decision he had to make. And when you combine money with a more sure thing in terms of opportunity, I don't blame him. But yeah, I don't want to say yes to that because I haven't specifically asked it, and I don't even know if that would be decided yet. But in my mind, it would certainly be something I think would be possible with the way Bussey's built, and I think he's such a football player. I'd have to think he'd have a good vision and feel. You've seen them a couple times along the way, use him as a wildcat.
Yeah.
So, anyway, possible.
All right, fascinating one here, wide receiver. You get Isaiah Horton, who's a playmaker out of Alabama. You return Craver, Bussey, and then Jonah Wilson played 2 years at U of H, redshirted last year. So he's a junior. TK Norman and Bethel Roman and a whole bunch of freshmen, including a guy that sat last year with an injury, Jerome Miles, who's really big. What do you think about that position? Confidence?
I think it's a 9.
Yeah.
I think or 8.5, 8.5. Let's call it an 8.5. One of the most confident positions I see on this team, if not the most. Craver's a stud.
Bless you.
Thank you. There might be one more where that came from. All right, Quentin. Craver's an absolute stud, and people forget he played hurt for about the last 5 games last year. And it showed.
Yeah.
Zay Horton is a big-time player. And look, I'm not knocking Cam Coleman, but when we talk about, like, reaching the end zone in the SEC last year, he got there 8 times. When the two played together, one guy fumbled to lose the game. The other guy had 3 touchdowns. Coleman was the best receiver in the portal. I believe that. I still believe that. But if you take out the fact that Coleman went to Texas and take out the fact that A&M was squarely in the mix there, and you just said before the portal opened, we're going to get Isaiah Horton from Alabama, I think A&M fans would have said, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And he gives that size that they didn't have last year. So you go him, Craver, and Ashton Bethel-Roman. I mean, go look at Ashton's highlights and then say, gain a little weight. Now you're going in with confidence, which I don't think from everyone I talked to, I don't think he had early last season. And there was some frustration. Then he started getting touches and making plays. And then, from that Arkansas game on, he's a real factor. So those 3 at the top, kind of a do-everything guy with Bussey. And then, by the way, TK Norman's looked really good from the minute he got here. So there's a lot of speed there. And Norman, Bussey, Craver, Bethel Roman obviously might be the fastest of the bunch. And now you got size. And the wild card are these young guys. Jerome Miles in like a few days of practice was making some incredible catches, like deep balls.
I can't wait
over the opposite show, all kinds of stuff. If he's back,
I saw Mike Brown at Bucky's. Good-looking kid.
Mike Brown, and you know how his mom and dad were. He's going to have the mentality, and you see what he did this year. Mike Brown, Madden Williams, none other than Tim DeRuiter went and watched him in California this year, just not coaching, and texted me, "Hey man, this guy's like the best dude on the field." And like,
oh, that's good.
Don Bosco, and and then Aaron Gregory, and I think Warren, the late ad and flip from U of H. He's like 6'1", 195, runs 10.2. It's insane. So out of that group,
is that an underappreciated class, or am I just out to lunch?
Absolutely, man. And out of that group of 5, and there's some really nice size in that group too. Out of that group of 5, kind of like the 5 guys you fought at Jack in the Box, or was it Whataburger?
That was Jack in the Box. It was on campus at Baylor. They threw the Jack in the Box cup at me at 2-something in the morning. I was very politely dropping off my friend.
Why did you get a cup?
This was a long time ago.
But what did you do?
Because they were
just ruffians.
No, they're mama's boys. But there was 5 of them in a car just hanging out, and they thought they'd go 1-on-5.
But they just
didn't step out of the car, Looch. I was outside.
Well, what
they stayed in the car.
Was there an incident, or did they just want to?
I was very politely dropping off a date
And they just said, look at this guy.
I went back old school like the Aggies that used to have to take a train to Baylor to get dates because there were no dates here.
Yeah.
In my case, I had a long-term sort of friend. Thank God it didn't go anywhere because I upgraded.
Yeah.
With Megan Short.
Yeah, there'd be no,
If it weren't for the Jack in the Box fiasco, I might have gone back a second time. I'm like, I'd rather not mess with those guys 1-on-5.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though they didn't want to mess with me, clearly.
Why would they? If they saw you, they probably were like, you dumbass, why would you throw a cup at that guy? He's going to destroy us. Sadly, we live in a day and age where Nuno would think he would take all 5 of them.
He would have gone after it. He would have gone straight Batman.
So I don't even know where we went.
We went 8-5 on that.
I don't know where we went there, but out of that group of 5, if one of them steps up and is on the fast track to realizing that potential to go with the names I said, I'm very excited about that position. Very excited.
If you can afford to buy call it a Bugatti. That doesn't mean you go buy a Bugatti. You go buy all right, shoot, this is unbelievable. Great car, a Mercedes. So really nice. It was a super nice car, unbelievable. Revs up, it goes. It's got all the bells and whistles, half the price. Maybe a third the price. I have no idea because I'm not in the portal game. But if you can get Cam, Bugatti price, or you can get Horton, I have to imagine not Bugatti price. Again, I'm not a reporter. Horton's pretty dang good option right there. And it seemed like they figured that out once he entered.
That's what you do. And look, Texas people, it's funny because I had a good friend of mine who's close with what's going on there. I'm like, well, A&M offered more. I'm like, do you know what A&M offered? Or is that just the bullshit that your people that cover Texas are telling you? And is that what the people in their building are saying? Because everybody gets that. I'm not pretending. I've never been exaggerated to for, hey, Texas paid way more than you. But let's just not say that like it's factual. Let's not walk around and act like because the Texas insiders are saying that A&M offered more that that's true. I actually don't think it is from the standpoint I know what A&M walked to the table with. And again, that's per my sources. So everybody has to understand that just don't act like you are so sure of what you're saying. What I do know is that both were very competitive, and I don't think it ultimately came down to the money. I think it came down to just that was the choice. Now I do, and sometimes that happens, and maybe that had to do with the brand or living in Austin, or if that had to do with Arch and how he finished the year and the hype. Did
what about
Coleman
literal
get
brand?
swept up?
He is Jordan.
Or that?
Did Nike play
absolutely
into it?
Could have. Yeah. So, but for whatever reason, all these things factor in, and he's there. So you could either swing and miss at the position or fall way down your ladder, or you can reach out and try to take a big-time player, and that's what they did in Isaiah Horton. Isaiah Horton is a stud.
Yeah, he is.
And they got him, and it's a big-time a big-time addition.
Same freaking day, too. And he played with Marcel in the past 7 on, so that's good. All right, tight end. First one to drop was the local kid, Houston Thomas. Then you got to get Richie Anderson from Fresno. Micah Riley, I guess, according to my list, is coming back. Is that right? And a whole bunch of freshmen. So how do you feel about that position? Not one.
As good or better than I did last year.
Okay.
As good or better as I did last year. I think Houston Thomas can do the same things Theo did in the passing game and more. I think Theo, it's funny, this AI jackass on the website was trying to say, like, the AI claims that I've changed my tune on Theo. Hey, AI or Grok, whatever, I don't know what this guy's using. It's just a weird, I got to think the guy's a really weird person that he keeps coming back with this, like, like assessment that he's poured all this stuff that I've said or written in AI. Theo,
that's weird,
was a good player that they didn't want to lose. Theo was not a difference-making great player. Theo would have helped this team this year. And when you lost Theo because he wanted more touches, you had to go replace him. I think they replaced Theo with a better pass catcher. I'm not saying better hand. I think they both have good hands, but the way he catches the football, what Houston Thomas can do in routes, And I think Anderson is actually a lot like Borkacher, just per the people we talk to. They're really excited about him, and you watch his tape and you see he'll block you too. So I think that's a very similar 1-2 to what they're losing. So I think they replace that, and then the wild card,
big man,
6'7". I mean 6'6", 6'7", whatever he is, 260, can run, catch. Like
Keoti.
If Keoti Armstrong adjusts. If he adjusts, like makes that big jump, I think he had longer to go to make that jump. Obviously, you see how like guys like Morrow and Noah and Marco played this year, but talent-wise, he might be at near the very top of this entire roster, honestly.
So he's Trey Green.
So. He's bigger though. He's probably not as like.
I'm just kidding.
He's not as wide receiver-y as Trey Green.
Yeah.
So but you
Marty.
But if he decided to get his hands on people and maul some people, he absolutely could, And then you have 3 freshmen.
Yeah.
I know I'm particularly, Tafua is a real pass-catching weapon himself. And then Caden Johnson's one of the more intriguing players they signed. I think in another year, that guy could be just an absolute monster.
I'm keeping notes, not to hold you to him, but because I don't know crap about this team. The recruits, particular, not the freshmen. What's your number on that?
I'd go with, I feel like a 7 over there.
Okay. All right. O-line.
And by the way,
fascinating.
My rankings are different because if the team overall came out to like a 7.5, I don't view that as, that's a mid-C, 1 point above a D grade. I'm comparing it to what other teams on their schedule and in the conference are, and I think it would, that's I don't know. We'd have to do that exercise, but that's the comparison.
I'm going to redo it after spring. This is going into spring.
Oh, yeah.
This is just your confidence level in it.
Let's rip through these.
All right, look at this. O-line with 4 guys out of the SEC, 2 from LSU, plus what you return. The only guy with a bunch of experience is Naboo. What do you think O-line?
I think when Zune wasn't at tackle, I like the tackle. I like what they're going to have at the tackle position better this year with Formby and Wilkin Formby and Tyree Adams. I think they love Tyree Adams. And I think Formby was a guy that I don't think it was a secret that he was going to end up going in the portal. Cohen Eccles is a guy they knew everything about. Mm-hmm. Then they went and got Ball from South Carolina, who's giant body, and if he starts, he starts. You're going to have guys competing there.
Mm-hmm.
My concern with grading the O-line as high is I think mesh and experience matter so much on that position, but I think in terms of like talent-wise, I think they'll be just as good. The one position where I think you drop noticeably is Besantis was so good. I think people underrate, the significance of that loss. So I think there's a little bit there where you got to let the inside kind of figure itself out. I wish Seton would have gone in the portal sooner. I think A&M would have been more of a player, but now with Seton's number versus the amount they just spent on 4 portal O-linemen and the amount they spent on the roster, like if he's going to get $3 million plus, that $3 million, it's more than anybody on this roster, save maybe a quarterback, would make. B, and that's fine if you want to do that with a tackle, but B, it feels like even more when you've already kind of rounded out your roster. You get what I'm saying? Like $3 million feels more like you're going and trying to find 5.
Yeah, you just got 9 O-line, D-line.
Yeah.
Well, how quickly can we get Hunter McKinney on the field? I'll tell you, it is good to have McKinney back on the roster.
It is, and his best football's ahead of him, and he had the decision of whether to go to develop somewhere else or come develop here, and he chose to develop here, and I think it's the right thing to do because he's got the size. He's going to be, if he wants to be a 325-pound, 6'3" guard, he can do that. And if he develops to the point where they feel like he can play here in a couple of years, then you stay. And if not, I think his stock will be much higher, having been here under Tommy Moffitt, practicing against these guys and developing in this program to go where he'll end up. He was committed to Houston Christian. If it works out that way, he can get a degree here and go play, I think, somewhere at a much higher level than HCU.
Number real quick on O-line?
I'm going to buy this one up and go with 7.
Perfect. All right, you want to do D-line together?
Yeah.
A ton of commits there. You got 5 of them, 2 at end, 3 at tackle, spanned all over the country for these guys, plus what you have coming back. Lost a lot, got a lot in the portal, though.
Don't forget TJ Searcy. There was part in the year I was under the assumption he was he was done, and obviously not, but
that's great.
He and Marco Jones, I think, would be a nice starting tandem. And I think Jones' ceiling is through the damn roof. I've been saying that since they recruited him.
And no more baseball, right?
I don't know. Did he say that?
I think Bronny posted it.
Did he?
Or is that not
Zane
right?
said, I think Zane said no.
No baseball, yeah.
And that's fine because Marco Jones' future is an NFL DN. It just is.
Yeah.
I think Marco and Searcy is a nice, if you told me those are your start, but I think Anto Saka ends up being, I think that was one of the quietly biggest additions in the portal. I've said I think my biggest ones I'm most excited about for impact-wise are Saka, Horton, and then I said Saka, Horton, and Ricky Gibson were my 3. I think Saka, Jones would be like a Marco Jones in year 2 and Marco Jones in the second half of year 2, like second half of his first year as a starter. I think that's a really dynamic future NFL tandem there. Searcy's very SEC experienced. Now he's experienced in the system. And then you added Ryan Henderson, who he got after the quarterback this year at San Diego State. And they had a couple guys, and then one went to Tech for a high dollar, big dollar deal. They really like his twitch off the edge, kind of an OLB edge rusher guy. So I like what they've got there. And the guy we forget about, and they've got some freshmen that are going to come in. Bryce Perry Wright was one of my favorite players in the class. People forget about Sam Mpemba. And I haven't asked a lot of people about him. So I don't know. I mean, obviously he wasn't quite ready. But that was only, if I'm not mistaken, is that his second year out of college, out of high school last year. He's a guy just to kind of, I'd be interested to see him in the spring and to hear what people are saying about him. And I'm not saying that as like some kind of like I know something, I'm teasing this. I don't. I'm interested because he certainly looks the part.
Yeah, great to see E-Rob back and then immediately hitting
on
the
the
ground
inside
to get some big need position guys.
Well,
for sure.
re-signing DJ Hicks and keeping him from going to the NFL was massive. You need some experience there. And he needs to come back for his sake. He's going to really up his stock. He wasn't going to be like some high draft pick this year or anything. He needs to up his stock and have his best year as an Aggie, and he should. His rate of improvement. To go get Angelo McCollum, I mentioned this. I was giving Bronny a hard time because I mentioned it to him, and then sitting here yesterday, he stole it from me. But he's like kind of like you look in Big Ten country, he reminds you of like a Rodis Johnson type, just very experienced in Power 4. Played under Bielema, well-coached team over there. Brandon Davis Swain, if he wasn't at A&M today, would be at Ohio State. Is he there yet? No, I think he's still young. But, man, he's got a ton of talent, quickness for a big man. That's a guy I'm particularly excited to see. And then, to bring back Landon Rink was important. Landon Rink, DJ Sanders, and Sims, who tore an ACL in camp last year. Those 3, they feel very good about. Like 1 year in, they go, okay, we hit on all 3 of those guys. So the D-tackle position, I think, and then you've got a giant true freshman in Kinsler, and then you added Mims late from North Carolina, which I think was very important. They had a guy from Penn State that went to Tennessee that I think very early on, from what I was hearing, I thought he was coming here. That one hurt. obviously they wanted Eno Etta. I had even literally my Miami people say, hey, it's done. He's going to A&M. He picked A&M over Miami. But then they did a great job of convincing him to stay, whether that was through NIL or getting him more excited about the coaching change there at Whittingham. Whatever it was, that was so they took a couple big hits early and recovered nicely late. I like the numbers there. That was a concern of mine going into this.
Yeah.
I like the numbers. I think they added proven P4 guys, a couple that you could see starting, and another depth type thing. And then they've got youth there as well. So the D tackle, I'm like at a solid 7 there as well.
Okay.
D end, I'll say 7.5 because I think Saka, if it ends up being Saka and if Jones makes that jump, I think those two could be pretty lethal.
Yeah, good. The Saka signing got Bruce Feldman out of A&M hibernation for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
He actually liked that because he was one of the freaks of the year.
He's over there.
That's pretty good.
Him and Mandel.
They actually said something good about
Big Ten
A&M.
country.
Perfect.
Joel Klatt leads that contingent.
Yeah, 2 linebackers. One was I guess, walk-on invited. T.J. Smith out of Houston Christian, and Ray Coney from Tulsa. When you lose a couple good ones, what do you think about linebacker going in the spring?
I've said this. I almost feel like maybe another number there would have made me feel better. But I also know they typically only play 2 on the field. But I think they were also very fortunate last year. You know, once Scooby got hurt, I think Sanford was playing more than he needed to physically. Like, he was out there making plays, but like I think that wore on him to go from really not playing at all to playing that much. And then had one of those two gotten hurt, you'd have been in a really bad spot. Other than that, I love Ray Coney. When you look at his tape, like that's a dude.
Yeah.
And the idea of Coney and Sanford starting, I think, is rock solid.
Which one plays Mike, you think?
I think Coney.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And with Elko, it kind of will move guys around.
Yeah. You get creative.
I think Coney, though. The key to this unit, Gabe, and there's some really nice, I like this true freshman class a lot, but to me, the key to this unit is 2 guys. It's Noah McHale and Jordan Lockhart. How much better do they get with more being put on their plate and with experience? So McHale needs to make that year 1 to year 2 jump, and then Lockhart, here's your opportunity. You've shown it at times. So those 2 to me are going to determine like how good this position can be.
Number?
God, I'm just trying to judge it against other positions.
I know it's hard.
I'll go 6.5 there too.
Okay.
Again, this is like I should have stopped you early on the number
you don't
thing
like this
because it sounds like a 65. Like, oh, they're failing at line, but it's like
you wouldn't write this in print, but we're just having fun here.
No, it's not. It's not even that. It's just it comes with no context. It comes off.
You got to listen to the show.
Wrong. It's like the you know how people grade a position after a game. There's a reason I don't use like letter grades.
Why I didn't do letters.
But this is out of 10. But it's like, but again, it's like, what do I grade South Carolina's linebacking core? What do I grade?
Mm-hmm.
What do we grade Texas's? What do I grade Oklahoma? And and then you have to take the whole Kentucky. You have to take the whole thing and then look. Here's what this team's grades are versus this.
It'd be hard to do right now because it's so in flux.
It's just too tough to scale it. But anyway, we're having fun. Keep going.
Give me corner and safety. You can talk about them both at the same time, but give me 2 grades on that.
I love corner. I love corner.
Those 2 pickups were really good.
I think Ricky Gibson is such a stud at Tennessee, and it killed them this year when he got hurt in that game against Syracuse and was out for the year.
Yeah.
I think he's that good. And Des Rick. So I think as far as starters go, that has a chance to be a really, really good unit. And like Des Ricks, people are like up and down on him. Last year they were down. This year they're both. I think next year they'll all be up. I think people forget sometimes, like, that's a really difficult position to play. And he's getting better and better at it. Sometimes I hate what our fans do on social media, like in terms of just reactionary. If a guy has a bad game or gives up a big play, or it's like, man, this guy has gone from year 1 to year 2, and he's got no limitations in terms of his athletic ability.
Oh yeah.
The
physicality part's there now, right?
I
Yeah.
love that position for them.
Yep.
And then there's depth guys to round that out. There's potential for nickel there with Jordan Shaw, or is that Bryce Anderson now that he's returning?
Exactly.
And I think that could be where you get a look. And then those young guys are really good. You just don't know who's going to be ahead of the others. Obviously, Arrington's got that 5-star talent and speed.
Yeah.
But you've got 3 guys that are now going into year 2. Which of that group is going to make that jump to really push for a meaningful spot on that depth chart? As in, which one of them is going to actually play in SEC games this year?
And then safety's loaded with experience.
Safety going out and adding Byard from Colorado, man, he tackles, and they need that. He comes downhill and tackles, and then you got seniors in Ratcliffe and Brooks. Brooks is NFL bound. Ratcliffe has played now a ton of football. Safety's good. Miles Davis is a guy that I'm keeping an eye on now. I think safety is a really the secondary in general. I think again they took a big jump.
Oh yeah.
The biggest improvement on the team, I think, was that it was in the secondary, and they could kind of be what the A&M O line was last year. Brooks, look, NFL caliber. Like I see Brooks, I see Gibson, I see Ricks, and then you can go from there. So Byard's brother is in the NFL.
His brother's a
star, total
for the
star.
Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good. I said, "Hey, Easton, we got the brother of this guy Byard from the Bears." He goes, "Byard? I know Byard." What are you talking
Crazy.
about? Yeah.
I like the secondary.
Even kids know Byard.
I like the secondary as an 8. I like the kicking game as an unknown, but I love the fact that they went and added a proven kicker in Alano. And like I said the other day, played in some elements up there at Illinois in the Big Ten. So there you go.
I mean, is Perkins worth a look, or is there a best player available option, even if somebody pops out there?
At where?
Zenit's reported Harold Perkins is in the portal.
Did he? I thought he was going. Yeah. And
What's that?
What I saw was NFL draft.
Draft.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Nick
Anderson portal. Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
Okay, but is there more space? Sitting at like 95 guys right now.
I'm sure they could add one more if the right one popped up.
Okay.
I mean, in this day and age, who knows how many you could add? But yeah. If the right guy popped up.
All right, let's close it out with Easton's Corner and a real quick hit on basketball because we got to do that dog leg, the dog of the week. We'll do that for basketball. Okay. It's a 1.5-minute version of Easton, and it is about the portal. And a good question for you. Here's Easton.
This is Easton's Corner, and today I'm talking about the transfer portal. I really like the pickups like Isaiah Horton. I love that we got a kicker because if we had to deal with one more of those bad kickers, he might not be great. But I can tell you what, he's definitely better than Randy Bond and Zirkle. Like, golly, we really needed a kicker. So that's big. Then we got 4 offensive linemen. We kept Naboo. All 4 offensive lineman transfers were from the SEC. So I like that. Then we got just the defensive linemen. That's good. 5 defensive linemen is good. Getting that corner transfer from Tennessee, he's definitely good. And then we got that linebacker from Tulsa, Tulane. Those are all some really good pickups. I think our defense is going to be good. I think we can roll with Ruben Owens at running back. We can definitely go with Isaiah Horton, Mario Craver, and Ashton Bethel Roman at wide receiver. And then I really love our quarterback in Marcel Reed. So I think everyone we got from the transfer portal was very good replacing our guys like Cassius and just KC. I mean, these are really good transfers. And my question for you, Billy, is who is your NFL comparison of Isaiah Horton?
NFL comp. Current NFL comp for Isaiah Horton.
I'm just picturing, with his size, he's not a possession receiver, but he's a guy that can absolutely be relied on to like move sticks. He's a red zone weapon. But man, you watch him down the field, and I could see Marcel throwing a lot of passes. You know, if you're going to give him one-on-one to throw that ball to him, I think he's going to make a lot of plays this year. Who is a guy like that? Is it like a?
I'll tell you who
like
we
a Drake
said
London? Like,
yeah, that'd be amazing.
I know. I mean, we're
we're
not saying
prototypes.
there's, but yeah, like just style of play.
He and I
Maybe
landed
something
on
like
Pickett's because you can really throw it to him deep, but he's also a fade specialist.
Yeah, Pickens in college was pretty skinny, was he not? Or I remember when A&M played.
Yeah, he was. That's right.
I think Bond's like a thicker. Like I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah,
it's like just trying to think of a big receiver that's got good hands and scores a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah,
I was thinking of like a Drake. I'm trying.
That's good.
I don't know how big London is listed at, but
all right, they're playing the music, so the studio's up next, I think. But
hey, listen, sometimes
you.
I think they forget who actually owns the company, so they can cut their music. Do they not know that by doing that, it's just going to make me want to sit in here? But yeah, let's go ahead.
Well, I was going to say,
lucky for them, I've got lunch.
Let me just take quickly because I got to get sponsor read in. Dog of the week, Dog Leg Golf, College Station's indoor. I'm there all the time, so come out and let's hit some golf balls together. It's a ton of fun. Texas Avenue, dogleg-golf.com. I mean, like my dog for this team has got to be Aggie. Do you go him or do you go someone else?
I love Aggie.
Yeah.
And my mom, it's her favorite player. She's come to a couple of games. And she's down there harassing Bucky after the game.
Your mom, man. She's awesome.
He gives her a big hug. She goes, "I'm Billy's mom." Bucky goes, "Oh my God." My cousin recorded it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is when I was in Chicago. I'm like, you can't let her go anywhere. But
you put her on the front row?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. So
wow.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Those aren't my seats. Those are Stark's. He did it, so he gets the blame. But AG is like the heart and soul of this thing. I feel like. But Jakari Lane, to me, like he's not scared to go up there in the paint, and I like what he brings to the team in terms of like toughness and the ability to like that little blow by that he's got is
20 points, 9 boards, and blocked a 6'8" guy's dunk last night.
In a key moment.
Yeah.
Key moment of that game. So yeah,
he's an animal.
I like Jakari.
This is fun.
All right.
Good to do it again,
Gabe,
man.
Good one.
Absolutely.
We'll do a what do we think? We'll get a schedule for y'all in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll do it semi-regular in the spring. How about that? Episode 16, let the good times roll. We'll talk to you soon.